everyone, my name is Aska and I'm an international student in Holland. As you can imagine, living alone can be an exhilarating experience, but it comes with its own set of responsibilities. One such responsibility is managing your own budget. Now, as trivial as it sounds, sometimes it just doesn't work with doing the math in your head anymore, and you really need to use the additional computational resources that we have available today to do some cool analysis, like predicting future purchases, or finding trends in your spending habits so you know where to cut down, or doing something as simple as building a dashboard that will tell you about your financial situation at any given time. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make a small part of that dashboard using Microsoft Excel, which is a traffic light widget that will turn the red light on if you're going over budget in some category and green light if you're doing fine. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's start by getting the data. I've downloaded the data from my bank application, but you can get it from anywhere you like. In my data, I have the transaction date, the amount, and description field. We'll be considering three categories for this video, namely groceries, traveling, and utilities. And the goal is to categorize each of the transactions in one of these categories. I've done this by using the description field because it gives me a little bit of hint about where I have spent the money. I have a legend containing few of the shop names for each of the categories we're considering. Then I have simply used an if-then-else formula to check if a shop name is present in the description to identify the category of that transaction and have placed a Y there. This is all just to get me started, but I assume that your data will already be organized in categories. The next step is to select all this data, go to Insert tab and choose Table. It will convert my data into table, which will save me from the reference issues. Next, I've created a table here that shows me how much I have spent in each of the categories in the month of today. You can extract today's month by typing month followed by today like this. The utility and grocery values have already been calculated. Let's calculate the traveling field together. Use SUMIFS function. Conveniently, we can use table name to access the field values. Use amount as a sum range. The first criteria is that traveling field must be Y at that position, and the second field is that the transaction month should be equal to the month of today. To get the month from transaction date, we have used the formula that I've just told you about earlier. Next, I've created a table for the upper and lower limit for each of the three categories. Here I've hard-coded these values, but you can also compute the average of all the transactions in each category to arrive at a baseline to use it in your analysis. Now that we have all this sorted, it is just a matter of comparing the sum values with the upper and the lower limit for each of the respective categories. Something like this. The value of sum with respect to the lower limit and the upper limit describe what color of traffic light would be on. Let's put this more formally. We say that if sum is less than the upper limit, use the equal to sign. Otherwise, leave it blank. I'll explain in a minute why. Also, don't forget the anchor signs in each of the cell IDs. For yellow, use AND function to join two conditions that are if sum is less than the lower limit and if sum is greater than the upper limit, then use the equal to sign. For green, if sum is greater than the lower limit, then use the equal to sign. I'm going to do the same for the other two categories. Then change the text color to red, yellow, and green respectively. Now for the magic trick. Select these cells and change the font to Webdings, and you'll get the circles that we'll be using in our traffic lights. Essentially, this table already functions as traffic lights, but let's make them more aesthetic. In the dashboard sheet, I've added a gray rectangle and a text box for the title of my dashboard. Begin by importing a picture of an empty traffic light that I've downloaded from the internet. Add a text box for the category name and group them together. Copy and paste them twice for the other two categories and rename the text boxes accordingly. I'm going to speed this up a bit. Lastly, align them by going in the Picture tab and selecting the Align option. Our dashboard is almost ready. Let's add some traffic lights. Now what I want is to somehow get the current value of the cell in this table embedded on my traffic light. In order to do this, I'll use the Camera tool. Select the Customize Quick Access toolbar and select More Commands. From the drop-down, select All Commands and select the Camera tool. Press Add button and then OK to add it in your Quick Access toolbar. The camera tool allows you to take functional snapshots of your cell, meaning that the screenshots show exactly what's in a cell at any given time. So now, select the cell from this table and press the camera tool. Go to Dashboard Sheet and press Anywhere. Resize and crop the image and place it appropriately on the traffic light. Use Send Backward option to avoid seeing the white border. Notice the ID of the cell in the formula bar. We are going to change this for all the other lights. Copy and paste this for the rest of the lights while changing the IDs for each of them. I'm going to speed this up a bit again. Our dashboard is ready. Let's play around by changing the upper and the lower limits to check its functionality. If you change the lower limit of groceries to -100, you'll see that the yellow light turns on. And if you change the upper limit of traveling to -25, you'll see that the red light turns on. With this, our dashboard is complete. This is just a proof of concept. You can add more widgets to it to make it even cooler and more complete. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment box below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible.